perfect love. Tom, at 33 years old, tired of romantic disappointments and loneliness, decided to try his luck on a new site that promised the perfect marriage. The site claimed to find the ideal partner based on the user's preferences and desires. To Tom's surprise, the site found Lauren, a woman with all the characteristics he had always dreamed of. Lauren appeared completely in love with him from the beginning. A couple of site representatives took Tom to his new home in a newly created city for the Perfect Love Project. The goal was to provide men like Tom with the relationship of their dreams, with beautiful, loving, affectionate wives always ready for intimate activities. First, everything seemed perfect. Tom began to notice that each woman had a different, yet somehow familiar behavior. Some liked drinking beer while watching television. Others were addicted to physical exercise. All, however, had a dominating behavior, even in intimate moments. When he shared this with his friends, Tom discovered that they had also noticed these patterns in their wives. Tom tried to talk to Lauren about her past, but she always got angry and changed the subject, leaving Tom without answers. One weekend at the city club, they were gathered until one of the men, named Mike, expressed concern. He had caught his wife injecting something into her body with a syringe. She said it was just a procedure to reduce skin oiliness. Later, Mike identified it as some kind of female hormone, as he had worked for many years in the manipulation of medications, such as steroids, anabolic steroids, and hormonal products. A silence fell among them for a few moments, but it was quickly broken when they realized they were being watched by their wives. Tom asked everyone to stay calm and not jump to conclusions, assuring that everything would have a rational explanation. Everyone agreed, though still suspicious. The following week, everything seemed normal, but Tom noticed that Mike was avoiding spending time with them and didn't even appear at the club. Intrigued, after returning home while Lauren was taking a bath, Tom went to Mike's house across the street. When he thought of ringing the doorbell, he noticed the door was open, so he decided to enter. Everything seemed in order, but the silence dominated the place until it was broken by some noises coming from upstairs. Approaching the stairs, Tom saw the bedroom door slightly ajar. Silently, he climbed the stairs and approached the door. There, he saw Mike with his hands tied to the headboard and his mouth gagged, being abused by his wife Megan in a violent and dominating manner. Mike's desperate eyes met Tom's, as if begging him to flee. Tom quickly withdrew and returned home, now knowing the truth, a truth that soon everyone would discover. Tom sat in the living room, his heart pounding. He exchanged a significant look with Jack, his neighbor, who was beside him. They had finally put all the pieces of the puzzle together. The truth was shocking. Their wives were actually men who had undergone surgical and aesthetic procedures to physically transform into women. The tension in the room was palpable. The wives were always watching, monitoring every move of the men. Tom knew he had to act quickly. They couldn't continue living this lie. He abruptly stood up and headed to the door, but was immediately intercepted by Lauren. "Where do you think you're going?" she asked, her voice cold and controlled. Tom looked into her eyes, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. "We know the truth, Lauren. This needs to end." Before he could continue, the door was forcefully opened. The site representatives entered, followed by more women, all with the same stern expression. "You're not going anywhere," one of the representatives said. "You signed a contract. You're here to stay." Jack tried to argue but was interrupted by one of the representatives who pulled out a gun and pointed it at him. "Any attempt to escape will be severely punished." Tom felt sweat trickle down his forehead. He knew the situation was desperate, but he couldn't simply give up. He looked at the other men, who were also scared but determined. They had to fight. Tom and Jack secretly gathered that night to devise an escape plan. They knew the surveillance was intense, and any false move could be fatal. "We need a distraction point," Jack suggested. "Something to divert the attention of the cameras and the wives." "What if we use the fireworks left over from the last festival?" Tom proposed. "They can cause a big noise and enough light to divert attention for a while." Jack agreed, and they spent the night preparing everything. The plan was simple. Tom and Jack would use the fireworks to create a distraction in the city's Central Park, while the other men prepared to flee. The next night, everything was ready. Tom and Jack, hidden in the park, lit the fireworks and quickly hid. The explosion of light and sound was deafening, attracting everyone's attention. The wives and site representatives ran to the scene, leaving the houses momentarily unprotected. Taking advantage of the distraction, the men began moving towards the meeting point on the city's outskirts. Tom and Jack followed closely behind, ensuring everyone was safe. When they reached the meeting point, they noticed Mike was missing. Tom decided to go back and look for him, despite Jack's protests. "It's too dangerous, Tom," Jack warned. "They'll notice the escape any moment now." "I can't leave Mike behind," Tom replied determinedly. Tom ran back to Mike's house. Approaching, he saw Megan holding a gun, watching the door. He decided to go around the back of the house. Upon reaching the kitchen window, he saw Mike sitting at the table, having coffee and reading a newspaper. Mike saw him, and the two broke the window for Mike to escape. The noise alerted Megan, who ran to the kitchen and saw Mike escaping through the window. She fired but fortunately missed him. Tom and Mike ran towards the meeting point, constantly hiding to avoid being caught by the site guards and armed wives. Finally, they reached the forest and managed to shake off their pursuers. Exhausted but free, the men gathered on a deserted road, relieved to have escaped. Tom looked at his friends, knowing this experience had changed them forever. Now it was time to rebuild their lives, free from the lies that almost trapped them forever. The City of Perfect Love and its website are still in full operation.